Welcome back. It's time to look into your portfolio queries, and I'm joined by Anil Rego from Right Horizons. Anil, hi, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let's take Vedant's question first. As per his portfolio details, he can invest 5,000 per month, and he wants to invest in mutual funds. And I think he's confused between mutual funds and SIP. So maybe you want to explain that to him. And so, according to him, is it the right time also to begin his investment, looking at the volatility in the market, and what should be his first fund?
Yeah, so typically, when somebody's starting out, we would like to be conservative. And from that standpoint, my recommendation will be accordingly.
Sarang,
Now, coming to, what is a mutual fund? And we typically use an SIP or a systematic investment plan, which is basically a monthly investment. Say, for example, you can invest 5,000 rupees per month, right, which you set into an equity fund. So the mode of investment is called a systematic investment plan. Okay, so which basically means that you have to choose a particular mutual fund, and typically you'll do an SIP, with an equity fund, because SIP helps you manage risk and the volatility in the long term, uh, and you don't have to bother too much about timing the market, right? So what I would suggest for him is to maybe just have a couple of funds, 2,500 rupees each, and the first one is possibly to start off with a balanced advantage, like a HDFC balanced advantage, which is a hybrid fund, to give him, the safety, and it'll be much less volatile. It's a hybrid fund, which means there's a combination of equity as well as debt, and it's also balancing. When markets are high, it goes into debt and vice versa. The second is, I think, you can look at say an ICICI through large and mid cap fund, which is in the category of large and mid cap, and I think a combination of these to start with. As he goes forward and gains confidence, then he can come back and start investing in also mid cap, flexi cap funds, etc.
all right, so this is a recommendation to Vedant that you've given a large and mid cap fund and a balance advantage fund that he can begin his investment with. Any specific reason behind the selection of BAF? You think, I mean, can he go aggressive? Can he just have a small cap also in his portfolio? Possible?
Yes, so definitely he can, but from the sense I'm getting is he's a first time investor. Okay, so I'm not sure he can manage that bit of volatility, which is why it start a little conservatively. But yes, I mean, he can at least do a mid cap fund like a HDFC mid cap or something like that is something that he can also add, assuming that, he is willing to ride the volatility for the long term. The other question that he asked, I think, is it a good time? Right? For SIPs, there's always a good time, right? So because you're not investing in lump sum, and if there's a fall that happens, you're actually in the phase of buying. As long as you look at a 3 to 5 year plus type of time frame, then you're in the buying phase. Even if it's falling, actually that is something that will do well for you.
All right, Anil, let's take Sebi's question. And he's got 50 lakhs in his savings for equity investments and started doing SIP almost a year back. Axis Small Cap, Canara Robeco Small Cap, Axis Growth Opportunity, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap, and Parag Parikh Tax Saving also. And so he's been investing since almost a year. I don't know for how long he wants to continue, but then he wants you to review his fund mix. A lot can be changed, I guess.
Yes, so I think I'm just looking at the mix of funds that he has. First of all, the good thing is not having too many funds. Okay, but out of these, something like 5 funds, I think 2 of them are in, the small cap side. So from that standpoint, I would like to have one fund, which say we move off into the mid cap space. He's an aggressive investor, like what he's mentioned. So I am not going to go too conservative for him. And so Axis small cap, he can continue. Canara Robeco small cap can possibly replace with the HDFC mid cap opportunities. And the rest of it, I think he can continue with Axis Growth and Parag Parikh Flexi Cap. I only have one more point with respect to the Parag Parikh tax saving ALSS fund. Now, the question is whether he needs the tax saving, right? If he needs the tax saving, then definitely this is something he should continue with. But if you don't need the tax saving, why have a fund with a lock-in? right? So you'd rather, move that also into Parak Flexi Cap rather than the tax saving ELSS scheme, in case he doesn't need, the tax saving. If he needs the tax saving, then I think he should just continue, because the tax saving is an added advantage, and the performance of the fund is also not too different versus the Parak Flexi Cap fund.
All right, so the changes that you recommended to SEBI, and with that, it's time up on the show also. Thank you so much, Ranil, for taking time out and helping our viewers today. On that note, I'm going to leave our viewers with our WhatsApp number and email ID where you can send across your questions. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.